Hello everybody, it's Peter Bird here from Optimal Nutritional Excellence. Just want to have a wee talk to you today about sustained change. Now, over the last few months, I've done many vlogs and I've touched on all sorts of aspects of nutrition. I've talked about motivation, I've talked about the microbiome, I've talked about hydration, I've talked about all sorts of things. And today what I want to talk about is that structure that works for anyone that wants to have sustained change in their life. Now, when I'm talking about sustained change, I'm talking about a sustained positive change. I come from a whole food plant-based lifestyle perspective. What I'm about to talk to you today about can be certainly used for if you're wanting to change from the typical Western diet to a whole food plant-based diet, or if you're wanting to reduce down your ultra-processed foods and your animal protein and move closer towards the end of the spectrum of a whole food plant-based diet. It also works for any type of change that you want to make in your life. And one that I'd be thinking of that jumps to mind would be if you're wanting to improve your fitness, improve your physical well-being through exercise, which obviously is important. It's not only what I'm about to describe as a structure that is, if used, can be successful for sustained change as far as changing your diet. It can be used through any part of your life. Like I've done in the past, what I'm about to talk about isn't something that I'm just spieling off the top of my head. It's not something I'm making up. It's a well-researched area, and we know what works and we know what doesn't work. So let's start. If I was wanting to make a change in my life and I want that change to be successful, then what you're wanting to do fundamentally is look at people that have made sustained, successful change in their life and study that group. Now, we know what creates change that isn't sustainable. And that's from a weight loss perspective or a get fit perspective or changing your diet perspective. It's those instant things. It's what's advertised or sold to you that are your pills, potions, powders, those extreme things that are advertised to you that if you do this for this amount of time, this is what will happen to you. This is a positive outcome. The first aspect of sustained change is to incorporate the components that I'm about to talk about that will ensure you've got the scaffolding around you that you can see yourself still doing the change, still being involved in that change in your life in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years' time. So you can see that it's going to be a sustainable approach to making changes in your life. If you adopt an approach that has an end point of 6 weeks, and I'm thinking, I guess, of weight loss, it's a very common one. It's been an area that's particularly well studied. You undertake perhaps a gym membership, as well as that you're aiming to get fitter and you're aiming to reduce down your weight. You're motivated to do that. You've got a personal trainer. You enter into a 6-week program. You're on some sort of restricted diet. It might be including some powders or potions or pills or whatever. And you get to that goal of 6 weeks and you lose that weight and you're looking really good and you're feeling really good. What then? The structure that got you that far is now over. You've achieved that goal. And what we know is that the far and the majority of people that enter into a structure such as that, within 12 months, they've put on that weight and they put on more. If you're going to make change in your life, it makes sense, doesn't it, that change is sustainable. What the hell is the point of undertaking change and putting in all that work if it's not going to be sustainable? The first thing is what we call the bright line, or what I call the bright line. Now, the bright line is that across that bright line, over in that area, you'll put things that you're not going to do again. And I can definitely talk about nutrition, moving to a whole food plant-based diet here, but let's just keep it really simple and let's talk about smoking, giving up smoking, for example. or vaping. So what you want to do if you're going to give up smoking and you're serious about it is you have a bright line. So in other words, you don't smoke again. That's the cigarettes go over that bright line, and they're in that part there, in your mind where you just don't touch them anymore. And then moving forward, what you do is you incorporate that change into your life. So what you do is you tell people about that. You're informing people, the people closest to you, your friends, your colleagues, the milkman, whoever you come across, and you have entering into a conversation with, you let them know that you're undertaking this change. One of the main reasons, there's two kind of main reasons, but the first main reason for doing this is that no one likes to set themselves up to fail. So by letting people know the change that you're undertaking, you're kind of reinforcing, you're letting people know around you that this is serious. And the second aspect of that is that you're telling yourself, you're reinforcing it to your own mind that you're going to be making this change. So incorporating that change into yourself. When you incorporate it into your life, it means that it's not something that you're just going to be doing for 6 weeks. It's not something that is just short term. It's not something you're kind of keeping to yourself and keeping a little back door open. I'm going to do this. I'm serious about this, but I'm just going to keep it quiet. You let people know. You embrace it. You become part of that change. So you live and breathe it. You talk about it. That's a vital aspect of change. The third aspect of sustained change is that you do not enter into any other significant change in your life through that period of change. So one thing at a time. We know from studies that if you decide, right, I'm going to change my diet, I'm going to get fit, I'm going to stop smoking, and I'm going to change my job. Now we know from, as I say, from studies that if you take that approach, the end result is far more likely to be unsuccessful than if you take one of those. So if you're going to change your job, or you're going to stop smoking, or you're going to get fit, lose weight, or you're going to change your diet, take one of those. Take one and focus on that and own that, and put aspects of whatever you need to do that you don't want to go there again over that bright line, and you move forward with that. So having the bright line, owning it, allowing that change to become part of you, talking about it to other people, really important. Writing messages and putting them around the place so that you've got the stimuli around you of that change. The third thing is not making any other changes, significant changes in your life at the same time. And the fourth one, really important, is that whatever the change is going to be, it needs to be sustainable. It needs to be able to be repeatable. It needs to be able to become automized in your life. So it needs to become automatic. Now, what do I mean by that? What I mean by that is that if you are wanting to get fit, for example, and you're wanting to lose weight, that you're going to the gym. If you're going to go to the gym, your regime is going to the gym 5 times a week, or 6 times or 7 times a week, and you're going to do that for this is my approach now. It's not a sustainable change, and it's just not. Because it's so reliant on injury, on commitments from life, from work, from motivation, all sorts of things. So whatever change that you're proposing to do, it needs to be something that is realistic and become automatized. In other words, that in 3 or 4, 5 years' time, you can still see that you're going to be doing it. 6 months' time, you can still see that you're going to be doing this because it's realistic. It can fit into your lifestyle and it can become part of your lifestyle. Now, from the perspective of nutrition, this is quite straightforward, this particular aspect, because we all have to eat. And the automatized aspect of changing your nutrition is that you've got breakfast, lunch, dinner, tea, and so they are aspects that can become automatized. We have to eat, whether it's once a day, twice a day, 3 times a day, 6 times a day, we have to eat. So if we make the changes in that area and create a healthy diet based on whole food, then we can definitely see that we could be still doing that in 1 year, 2 years, 4 years, 5 years, because we all have to eat. I hope you understand where I'm coming from there. Let's recap. We have the bright line. There's aspects there in relation to cigarette smoking, or in relation to diet, changing your lifestyle, or going to the gym, and there's aspects that you're no longer going to be doing. You can see that these are that would hinder you in change. So as I said before, like cigarette smoking, putting the cigarettes over on that bright line, you're not going to smoke anymore. You're not even going to pick up one. With a diet, it would mean that there'd be certain foods that when you pick them up, you can't stop. Might be a bag of chips, that they go over that bright line, that they're no longer part of your diet anymore. Anything that you can see, if you look at it honestly, that's going to unravel your attempts for sustained healthy change. Then we've got bringing that into yourself, allowing the change, or ensuring that the change becomes part of who you are, that you let people know what you're doing, that you own it. It's not something you're tagging onto your life and just going along with it for a period of time. It becomes who you are. You very much embrace the change and live the change. Then you've got only tackling one change at a time. One change is enough. What we know about creating new habits is that when you're doing them consistently, it takes 3 to 4 months for the brain to adapt to that change, and then that becomes automatized. That becomes automatic. It feels odd not to do it. That's 4. And the 5th one, the changes that you make, they need to be automatized. They need to be something that you can see that it can just become part of your day, part of your week, part of your life, and that eventually that they become habitual. If you're creating change and aspects of that change are really difficult to do, that you have to kind of go out of your way to do it, or they're unrealistic, they're not going to be sustainable. So that's what I'm talking about there. Automatization is that the change that you incorporate needs to be something that is going to be able to become a habit, a good habit. When we're talking about the likes of moving away from the typical Western diet to the whole food plant-based diet, and this is quite straightforward, it means that you change your those automatization or automatizable aspects of your life will be your food. It'll be your meals. And so you change the meals, they become part of your routine moving forward, those new meals that you're eating. So, I mean, that's me. Hopefully that's relatively straightforward and simple. It's really lovely to see you. It's always great to check in. If you like this vlog, then please tell your friends, your family members, your work colleagues, and please like and subscribe. I love it when people do subscribe. I've got a slowly increasing base of subscribers, and I'm very, very grateful for you. Please give me feedback. I love to have comments. I'm really open for presenting any topics that you may find that are valuable to you, or you have any questions. Once again, please like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Thanks very much for checking in. Goodbye.